Hello everybody, this is BenchA5. Welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 19 Season 2. And I don't know if you remember when we bought this. This attachment has turned out pretty darn cool. Because this is the first time I've actually been using it. Which is kind of sad because it's been sitting in the shop for probably like 3 feedings worth. But it's downright awesome. I have been stacking them 4 high just because it makes it a little simpler here. Yeah, all you gotta do is stick the sucker into the bottom set of bales, and then you can fold it like that, and you see the tines go in there. I can now, I gotta be careful because there's a lot of weight. They are held in there. Oh, maybe not as well as I thought. Okay, well, I mean, it was a great demo, right? Maybe I should restack them. But things are going pretty well. We are, what, in late summer now? Got some of our fields taken off. Still working through the black beans across the road here that are harvestable. I had to shut down for the night last night because it was getting very dark. Just have to have it close, right? See, I still got some bale skills. Oh. Maybe. Maybe I do. Okay, don't. Whatever you do, don't tip over. So let's try this all again. Alright, so we pretty much locked her in place. At least I hope I did. And with it tipped back like that, it actually transports pretty well. Just don't tip it the other way, because you're going to lose them all. Just a key tip there. I hadn't tried that before. Oh, careful. And it did actually hold them. It wasn't until I tipped it back that it decided to spit them all out. Which is interesting. Oh. But it's pretty easy for us to then line her up to our bale shredder here. Release the bales and drop them in there, and because they weren't stacked nice, apparently they didn't go in properly. Well, that's not ideal. Well, apparently I need to do some stacking here, but might as well fill up the pig farm here with straw, and I'll get back to these guys in a little while. How much straw is it going to take? Another bale's worth? I suppose we'll. Oh, that's all the further. Okay. So there's still going to be like 2.5 bales worth in here. Which will be a great start for next time. So as I was saying, I know that was a horrible demo on my part, but I'm definitely really digging this attachment. See if we can get this to lay in there nice. Oh, that's not going to work. There we go. That's all I wanted. Well, I don't have good depth perception with this attachment, it seems. I can't seem to find where the tine level is. There. At least they're loaded up in there. And I still gotta feed the cows and keep on harvesting and see where we end up. I wanted to look at this as far as where we are at in growth. So I think we have some cornfields here. Let's see, corn is going to be this orange. We'll see. I might be chopping this one. I don't think we're not going to need a whole lot of corn to chop, to be honest. This thing's still like half full. Because if you look at our numbers here, it still will show really close to 500,000, which means we still have chaff in there that hasn't been turned over to silage. Kind of curious now how much we actually have in there. We can find out with a bucket really easily. Otherwise I gotta go find a wagon that's empty, and not always the easiest thing to do. So if we do this... Oh, 773 units. Okay. So how much silage we have in there is basically how much we have in there. We have 500,000 units. So we used half a silo's worth. You can see there we're working. So that means half a silo's worth will not be enough because we have more animals now. So we'll see. Maybe I put 300,000 units into it or something like that. Let's see, our wagon that we use is what, 60,000? This guy, 59,000. If we do 10 loads, we'll have 590. Well, that's not good. We can't do 590. 5 loads would be 250 plus 45,000. So just shy, like 295,000. So we might do 5 loads and call it good. That might be where we're at, but we'll see when we get there. So I'll keep feeding the animals, and we'll get the combines running again. I'm actually starting to get into a rhythm of this. This is working really well. Really well. I have no money though, apparently. I have enough money for one and a half hours worth of work probably. And then we're going into the negatives. Woohoo! Just what I wanted. So yeah, this guy's filling up and emptying out on this direction, and the John Deere is filling up and emptying out going that direction. The downside is this field is really long, so plus there's poles in the way, so it kind of complicates things, but we're getting there. This is the last of the beans that are at maturity right now. We do have some more beans to harvest here coming up. Some late beans. But we'll get to that at a later date. Later time. Yeah, see, this guy fills up. He's gonna end up turning around and going back up. I gotta take this tractor and grain wagon up too, because he'll fill up. He'll be at 80% right near the top of the field. Oops. Somebody was not driving straight anymore because he was not watching where he was going. There you go. John Deere's turning around. Perfect. Perfect. We got some cleanup to do on these fields, but that's okay. And then I still have to figure out the rotation. I don't know what's going on in these fields yet. I gotta look into that. But yeah, we'll run this up to the other side of the field, and that guy should be at 80% here pretty soon. Oh, I can't run it all the way up, can I? Because he didn't combine all of this. That's okay, we'll follow him in at a later date here. Park it here. There you go. 80%. Now I grab this guy, and the only time it gets really complicated is when both grain carts fill up, so I kind of gotta let the combines go until they reach full and they stop. Then I go empty the grain carts, bring them back, and start the whole process again. So 2 combines and 2 carts is definitely speeding up our harvest here. Otherwise this would take twice as long, probably. And it'd be a stretch for us to get it done before winter set in, especially if we got bad weather coming. Which fall seems to be bad weather. Or at least rainy. Last year it was rainy, last season. So let's see how that goes. But I'm going to finish these fields up, and tomorrow we're probably going to start chopping some corn off. And get our silo filled up a little bit more. Well, it looks like early autumn, I guess would be kind of August. It's going to give us some trouble here. And it's still damp out. There's rain in the forecast for later today. There's rain in the forecast for tonight, so we can't do any combining. Our soybean fields and some of our sunflower fields are ready. So I think we should just start chopping some. And then on top of that, our hay field over here that we planted is ready, but I can't harvest that. The reason being is the rain, the wet. It's not going to dry for hay, so we're going to get ourselves in trouble if we try to cut it. I mean, I suppose we could chop it, but I think we're going to try to cut it instead for hay. So I figure instead, we should probably take off our loads of corn here, put her in the silo, and get that all prepped for this year. It's going to be 5 loads, I think, is what we're aiming for. See if I can set this. There we go. Set that cruise control. We'll see how far we get. I think it's only going to be this little piece here. We're actually going to end up taking off. Which is unfortunate. I wish there was a little more off. I thought about turning this field into like a wheat field or something and doing our straw for next year off of that. But I don't think that's a good idea. For one thing, we're not going to get it harvested. Technically, it's in its second to last stage of growth is what it is. The last stage of green. Oops, sorry, buddy. But there's no difference in yield when you're chopping corn if you're doing it in this stage versus harvested. So we're going to do it in this stage. It gives us something else to do while we're waiting for things to dry out. So I'm going to get off 5 loads here and see where we end up. Well, I think you can actually see from here, I took a good chunk of the corn off there for silage. Got 5 loads in there, starting to get some of this stuff combined off here. You can probably see it from here. If I change this over. And yeah, we took this chunk off of corn. Not too bad. Taking some beans off here, taking some sunflowers off here. But there's a couple things I want to do here. You can see I got a bunch of money at the moment. Sold some milk, sold some black beans, and what I want to do, we should pay off our loan so we don't owe money again, because we said we were going to do that. And then I know we're about ready on land, but I want this little field here. Put some hay on it. So we're going to end up buying this piece of land right here. So we still got 200,000. That's not bad. And we didn't sell a whole lot, so it won't. We've got a lot of cash we can still make. But I'm gonna put hay on it right away so that it's ready for next year, because I don't think we have enough hay set aside for the cows. And I'm gonna keep working here and see how far we get along. Alright guys, well, so we've gotten some things accomplished today. Got, we're harvesting some things here. We got silage in, and we're harvesting again, going after soybeans, stuff like that. And honestly, I don't know what else to put into the episode. I usually have like a couple of things I want to hit, so sometimes the episode gets longer, sometimes shorter. All depends on what I want to get done in this episode. And honestly, I've been doing so much off camera, it's just been crazy. Just slowly working through the crops here. Here we go. He's gonna be the next one here. So I figured while I'm doing this stuff, you guys can watch kind of how things are being done here a little bit more. We should talk a little bit, right? A little bit of maybe some personal stuff outside of the game, stuff outside of YouTube, stuff like that. You probably noticed videos have been a little lacking. Summertime's been, well, spring and summer. There's been a lot more stuff going on. We've been doing a lot of landscaping around the house, trying to get some of that stuff taken care of since this second summer with this house. It's been coming along pretty good. The other thing I wanted to do, well, personally I wanted to keep playing this, and there's a lot of hours that go into this now because we're working so much land, but I also wanted to take time away from it and spend more time with family, you know, doing stuff outside with my daughter, getting some firsts in, you know, some memories, stuff like that. So we spent her first night in a tent out in the backyard. I picked the wrong night though. I didn't realize that my new sleeping bag couldn't handle 40-degree temperatures, especially when it was damp out, so I was freezing my butt off. And of course the genius in me was to do it on a Sunday night, so I didn't get much sleep and I had to work the next day. It was awesome. So there was some prime recording time that I didn't do that week. That's also why I decided to do some of the NASCAR heat, because it's quick and easy for me to record, and quick and easy for me to just ship out to you guys. So at least it's some content. You guys seem to be enjoying it too, which I'm all cool with. The other thing we've been doing a lot of is fishing. Just about every weekend here, if we're not working on the landscaping, we are out fishing. My daughter loves it. Unfortunately though, last year, her first time fishing, she got spoiled because she probably caught 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, bluegills in about 2.5 hours. They were just hitting like crazy, which if you've done enough fishing, you know it's not that normal. You don't usually get quite that many rates going on. So she expects it to be like that, and this year it has not been going that well for her. There's been a couple outings where she hasn't even gotten a single fish, although at her age I know her attention span's a little low, so it's been some stuff that she's missed. But you know, it's being a kid, right? It is what it is. I let her learn, help her out a little bit, and have some fun. Well, this past weekend, Father's Day weekend here, it was, we got rain coming in. Oh, I just see the forecast there. It just changed. Actually, I don't know where I'm going to take this guy. I got to get over here, though, or this guy's going to run out of space. Father's Day weekend. My daughter and I went fishing ourselves. And Saturday, I was having no luck. She was catching fish left and right, it seemed, again. And one of the bluegills that she caught, as she's reeling it in, something big hits it. Now, we've gotten carp and stuff out of there and some other fish. I mean, it didn't hit like anything I've ever seen. So we're bringing it in, and sure enough, there's a northern pike with the bluegill in its mouth, trying to take it away from her. I thought, wow, it'd be pretty cool if I could grab that. So I grabbed the net, and I went down there, and as soon as he saw me coming for him, he spit the bluegill out and took off. This is a little river that we're fishing in near our property, not far away. In fact, the river goes right below our property, but we've kind of got a corner lot, so we don't technically have river access. So we just go right down the road to like a little public area, and it all works out. He thought, boy, that'd be pretty cool if we could get that northern, but of course he took off. So Sunday morning, we had plans to go out to my parents for lunch and stuff like that, and my daughter's like, let's go fishing again. I want to get my northern. So we go down there again. I'm casting with a lure that I know works for northern. It has in the past. And not getting any action, not seeing it. Going all over the place up and down the riverbank where we were. Nothing. She's getting some bites on her bottom fishing worm setup that she's got. And after a couple bites, nothing, no action. So I said, hey, bring the worm in. Or bring your equipment in, see if you got a worm left. So she starts reeling it in, and sure enough, about the same spot, the northern hits her bobber, little pink and white styrofoam bobber. Just tries to swallow it, takes it, runs with it. So she's fighting with it. Mind you, it's not hooked. It's just on the bobber. And she brings it all the way to shore, and it sees me with the net again, spits the bobber out, takes off. Of course, it managed to unclip the bobber off of the line, so I had to fish the bobber out with my net. And so she's all excited, asked me to throw her line back out because she's been having troubles casting lately. She likes crossing my lines, and threw it out there. Bobber, I think I wrapped the hook around or something. I threw it funky. I don't know. Sometimes, some mornings I don't have the greatest casts either, it seems. I'm not much better than her. And so I bring it back in, and as it's coming back in, the thing goes after the bobber again. I thought, what the heck? So I get hers out there, a little bit off to the right. I grab one of my rods, switch it back over to the lure that I was using earlier, and I think it was on the third or fourth cast, it hits the lure. So I'm reeling it in. I can tell I don't have it officially hooked. Northern, that's the worst part about them if you've ever caught them before. If you don't get them hooked really well, and I wasn't using treble hooks on mine at all, I was using just single hooks on this lure. So it was like adjusting its grab of the lure each time I was, or, every once in a while as I was bringing it in. So I knew it was going to be risky trying to get it in. My daughter grabs the net, goes down by the water, we get it right up to shore, and we're realizing pretty quick that the net we have, which we have for convenience, and it's like a folding net, is much too small for this northern. So she can't get it in the net. So she's got it pinned against the shoreline, and at that point it decides to spit the lure back out. But luckily it's tired, so it's not fighting anymore. So I tell her, here, grab the rod, hand me the net, and I don't want to try to net it because there's nothing holding it anymore, and I'm probably going to lose it. So I was able to reach down, grab it by the gill slit, the gill cover, and pull it up onto shore. So we got this northern. It was an entire weekend, fiasco of finding it, dealing with it, and finally catching it after she almost caught it, 2 fish on one hook, and then almost caught a fish with a bobber instead of a hook. She was super excited. We kept it. It was a 30-inch northern is what it was, which is pretty darn good size when you figure the river we're fishing on is only about 15 feet wide and the water's low, so it's only about 3 to 4 feet deep right now. So not the biggest river at all. I didn't know there was that kind of a monster living in there. So she's super excited, loving fishing again now that she's involved with catching fish like that. And I'm definitely a proud dad and enjoyed my fishing story. You always hear the old timers and stuff, relatives I have, about the fishing stories they have in the past. Well, I officially have a Father's Day fishing story, which is pretty cool. But getting back to the game here, I'm going to continue harvesting. We've got some more beans to take off. We've got some more sunflowers to take off. This is pretty much going to be how life is here for the near future, trying to take all this stuff off. I do have some hay to do, and I have some hay that I want to plant. I feel like, yeah, there it is. I was going to say, there was some that we didn't get taken off completely here. But yeah, we got some hay that we want planted. I think I'm going to plant some winter wheat on one of these fields here, so I'm going to probably take a break from harvesting. But I think we'll get into that in the next episode. I also think our pigs might be nearing to the point where we're going to sell them all off. We'll have to see. But with that, guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed my story. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And thank you very much for watching. And as always, guys, take it easy.